All right, what's up guys? Hope everyone's having an awesome day. Today we're back at it with another YouTube video, and today we're going to be going over 5 tips that you need to build a massive chest. So we're going to get straight into it. The first tip is going to be understanding how to do a fly pattern. So when we look at chest training, obviously you have your presses and you have your flies. The flies are super important because that's how you're going to truly isolate your chest. A lot of the times when we look at flies, people have their arms straight all the way at the bottom. This is going to just put a lot of tension on the bicep. We want to keep the tension on the chest. So what we're doing is when we sit down here, right, we want to have our chest nice and proud. A lot of the times you'll see people keep their arms straight. Like I said, it's going to put a lot of tension on the biceps. Instead, what you want to do is you want to have a slight bend in your elbow and keep your chest proud. This is going to allow you to get a better stretch at the bottom. And then from here, you're going to fly up, and you want to think about touching your elbows together. A common mistake I see all the time is people are focused on touching their fists together. So when we look at the chest, right, you want to think about driving the bicep into the pec, right? So it inserts over here into the bicep, and the origin of the pec is right over here. So you need to think about driving that bicep into the pec. That way you could truly isolate the pec. So once again, have the elbows a slight bend at the bottom, and then you want to fly into at the top. So think about having kind of like a variation of a fly and a press. So I'm gonna do a couple reps for you guys. The second tip to getting a massive chest is going to be prioritizing your upper chest and doing incline movements. So when you look at your overall chest, a lot of people have a great chest, but they're lagging their upper pec, and it's probably the hardest part to develop. And your upper pec can never be too big. So one of my favorite movements to do this is the incline hammer press. So any incline machine is fine. You could also do an incline dumbbell, incline Smith machine press, or a barbell as well. I just like an incline machine press instead, because I could truly go to failure. There's no risk of injury, and I could really get that mind muscle connection. So when we look at the setup for this, here, what I'm gonna do once again is I wanna have my chest nice and proud, right? So have the shoulder blades, pin the shoulder blades back, retract your scapula, and from here you wanna have these joints stacked. So the wrist and the elbow, that way you're pushing through. You don't want to have your elbows all the way down here or your elbows flared like this. So here, shoulder blades nice and back pinned, joints stacked, and you're just going to press forward. Once again, you're just going to really think about driving that bicep into the pec. That way you could actually get that mind muscle connection and really shorten that pec. So make sure you're prioritizing your incline chest presses. I always have these at the starting of the workout. Like I said, you want to prioritize this, so make this your first movement because your upper pec can never be too big. The third tip to getting a massive chest is going to be retracting your scapula. Like I've mentioned before in the first couple of clips, you heard me say keep your chest proud. When we look at any muscle, you always want to stretch it as much as possible, and you always want to shorten it as much as possible. So for the chest, it's more so of a fan, and the muscle fibers run across this way. So what we want to do is we want to create distance from your sternum to your bicep. So how are we going to do that? Instead of being here, we're going to retract our scapula and keep our chest nice and up. So you're able to create more distance, get a better stretch. All right? So when I'm pressing here, a common mistake I'll see a lot of people is they won't retract their scapula and they'll round their shoulders forward like this, right? Which obviously we don't want to do because we're putting the tension off the chest and onto the shoulders. So as you can see over here, my shoulder is rounded forward, so the tension is coming from here. It's going onto my front delt. Compared to if I have my chest nice and proud, shoulders back, if I'm pressing here, you could see my chest is in front of my shoulder, so all the tension is going to be going here. So Keep those shoulder blades pinned, keep the chest proud, and you'll get a better contraction. So the fourth tip is gonna be targeting the entire chest. So when we look at the chest, there's 3 different fibers. So we have the upper pec, which is the clavicular chest fibers, the middle pec, the sternal pec fibers, and the bottom pec, the costal pec fibers. A lot of this is gonna come back down to where we're pressing and where our arm path is going. So if we're pressing up across this way, you're gonna hit more of the upper chest, here, more of the middle chest, and down this way is gonna be the lower chest. So what you wanna do in your workouts or your entire workout program is you wanna incorporate different machines. So here, we have like an incline hammer. When we look at the arm path of this, right, we're gonna be pressing up. So this is gonna be hitting more of the upper pec, right? So you could include this on one day. And then when we look over here, we have a declined chest press. So for this, the arm path is gonna be a lot lower. So if we go over here, here you can see I'm pressing downwards, whereas the incline I was pressing up. So make sure you're incorporating these different angles. That way you're hitting your entire chest. And if you don't have these machines, you could use an incline dumbbell for that. And for this, you could just do some dips. But definitely make sure that you're using a whole variety of exercises. The fifth and last tip is gonna be regarding the bench press. So benching, everyone loves it. It's the god of all exercises. You have to do it to get a massive chest. It's a huge myth. If you do the bench press, if you don't like it, simply don't do it. You don't have to do one specific exercise if it doesn't work for you. Back when I first started, I used to bench for the first 2.5, 3 years, and I always hurt my shoulder, and I got no gains from it. I only started to develop my chest when I started to moving more towards machines, cable work that I actually enjoyed, and I actually felt a better mind-muscle connection. So if your buddy is getting a lot of chest gains from benching, that's awesome, but if it doesn't work for you, you don't have to do it. Find what works best for you, and you'll get a lot more gains. And that's that. So make sure you incorporate these 5 tips in your chest training. You're gonna see a lot more progress, a lot more gains. So if this brought you some value, please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, thanks.